Somebody who is a very creative employee, I don't know, a video game designer or a very experimental artist in that environment would definitely make them depressed. But also vice versa, taking somebody from the office, the serious, and putting them in a very groovy Shoreditch office where there are all these features and art and weird things happen might really make them anxious, not depressed. They wouldn't know how to behave and what to do.
To be honest, the evidence around creativity is patchy. We don't know that much about what works. And there's another big area where research is lacking. When a company moves into a new office, it's rare that anyone does any studies afterwards to find out what works and what doesn't. Jane Carstairs and her colleague Janice Stanton did survey office workers 6 months after they'd moved from individual to open plan offices. One of the main benefits cited about open plan offices is that they improve communication. But it all depends, of course, on what you're chatting about.
The work on communications does suggest that people find that there's an advantage with their social communications, so arranging, their social activities, but they don't really claim there's an advantage to sort of working communications as such. And the other really interesting thing was when people were asked to report on their job performance. 2 aspects of that. One was how satisfied were they with the amount of work they accomplished, and also with the quality of work. And both of those dimensions, in this particular case, they indicated a drop in their level of satisfaction going to from the traditional to the open plan office, and that maintained over time.
And any new office often seems to involve quite a lot of new rules. No bins under the desks, no clocks, no pictures on the walls, or sometimes no paper even. Or how about the office where you're allowed pot plants, but only if you put them in your drawer at night? Presumably they're always dead by the time you get back from holiday. But staff still find their own ways of rebelling.
I have seen people with toasters in their desks. I mean, they do that. They come in early on purpose because they insist on having their toast and do it before the office manager comes in. So I think food is a lot of the grounds for little petty battles.
And what about hot desking, where it's a free-for-all and it's first come, first served for the best desks? Again, it's an efficient use of space, but is it good for us?
And the unwritten rules of open plan working, where the most senior people, they have their spaces and you don't go in that space unless it's a real social faux pas.
Or what if they're hot desking? They keep a place that's for them, really. And you get some people who come into work earlier and earlier in order to get a desk.
They're coming in early to get a desk. I think it comes up when people have lost a battle for that window seats.
The most salient feature of hot desking is that people find it difficult to personalise the space. So this seems to be the biggest negative that's coming out of the literature so far.
The rules about not having personal photographs and personal effects, I've seen those being cleared away. People do try. Photographs creep in.
Personalising the work environment, it seems to be important that it does help people cope with stress in some ways. Maybe a sense of security, familiarity, seeing things around you when you're dealing with a tough client or you've got to have a tough day at work, being able to have a look at photographs that are of importance to you may be able to buffer that impact of a stressful situation. And people
See, even sneezing can be like
that was
And sneezing can be so loud that you lose your train of thought altogether. But really, I think it's time to put some of my findings to an architect. They're often blamed for the shortcomings of offices, but I want to know how much research they do on what helps people to work at their best. Professor Alexi Marmot lectures at University College London and runs her own architectural consultancy, AMA.
There's a few different sorts of offices, and I think it's really important to distinguish. The first is that you have owner-occupied offices, which are few and far between. That's when there's an opportunity for research. Most offices are designed for speculative developers, so one doesn't know who's going to occupy the office.
That must make it quite hard to then get it right, because you don't even know what they're going to be doing exactly there.
You don't, so you have to always future gaze. Most organisations don't last nearly as long as buildings do. Something like the NatWest Tower is now called Tower 42. No NatWest there. So the challenge for architects is firstly, with whom would you research? Second thing is, what would you research? A lot of the issues that architects would call research are geared to the physical nature of the building and not to the individuals and organisations. And in a funny way, most designers are really focused on things, on the stuff, more than people and organisations.
And I guess as architects afterwards, do you know what the people who actually work in there think of it? I mean, I suppose you've gone, so you don't even hear them.
It's also partly that the building industry as a whole and clients don't want to hear any bad news. Personally, I think that's a big mistake. When we do post-occupancy evaluations, we nearly always identify very small, simple things that can be fixed right there and then for almost no money, just to improve the process.
Talking to a lot of people about the offices that they work in, one of the major complaints, particularly about open plan offices, seems to be the noise and that they can't concentrate. How much would architects take into account trying to minimise noise when they design an office for lots of people?
It's well known that that's important. Acoustics is a rather difficult science, and it's rather hard to simulate all of the stuff that goes into a building in advance. Some offices today more have the problem of silence.
But there is plenty of research showing that if there is a lot of noise around and it distracts people, then their productivity is reduced and that they might not even notice that.
Well, here I think we come to a different question. Most contemporary offices are really based on, yes, open plan, but also on what we call activity-based working. And what that really means is that you should then migrate to the space which is appropriate for you doing the task you're doing at the time. If you can go to such places, then that would be the solution.
So would anyone at any stage be looking, say, at what psychological